You know, one of these days we're going to have to disagree on a movie.
I know.
Soon enough.
Hello, and welcome back to Movie Husbands.
Today we're going to be reviewing Steve McQueen's new film, Lovers Rock, which is the second film in the Small Axe anthology. So Lovers Rock is kind of about a woman named Martha who sneaks out of her house to go to a blues party with a bunch of her friends and a bunch of people she doesn't know. And us, the viewer, are at this blues party kind of seeing what goes on there. So as much as this film kind of has a plot, that's sort of what centers around it. So Matt, what did you think of Lovers Rock?
I like this movie. I wouldn't say I loved it. I don't know how much of a movie it was. I think the most lacking thing that this movie had was a plot. It was a very simplistic plot.
I think for better or worse, this movie is very formless. I think some people really like that about this movie. I think some people could watch this and it certainly has a vibe. It's kind of a hangout movie. It's something that maybe you could get lost in and kind of just enjoy. But you're right as far as, you know, this action leads to this action. That's not something you're going to find here.
That's the struggle I have with this movie, is that it's like, it doesn't really have much of a plot, which I don't like about it, but that was obviously the intention McQueen had with this film.
Yeah.
It was definitely intended to just be this very simplistic story and focus, like you said, a lot on the vibe and the party. I think one of the greatest things about this movie, though, was that there wasn't really much dialogue in this film. Mm-hmm. But to me, what I noticed was that the dialogue in this movie was body language.
I think you're totally right about the body language. I think that in place of dialogue, the entire story, all of the characters' relations to each other, how they feel about particular situations is all communicated through the body language.
I gotta say, Martha's like a really good judge of character. You notice in her actions how she kind of treats all these guys she comes across throughout the night. And immediately, like right off the bat, there's this dude that she just does not jive with. He comes on way too strong. And it's interesting because later in the movie, you kind of find out that her instincts were correct. And that kind of plays out through the other characters she comes across during the night, except for this kind of one guy that she does meet and kind of takes a liking to.
Yeah, sure. And I think their relationship is definitely the heart of the movie. This movie almost has the opposite problem of some other movies we've seen where it is pretty emotionally involving. Like I felt definitely emotionally attached to the characters, but there's not a lot to appreciate from like a plot level. There's not a lot of driving action going on here. I do think that there's a lot to like about it, especially where it's placed in this anthology. So we've only seen the first two films. So Mangrove we reviewed, and that was a pretty heavy experience. This one it has a little bit of drama, but generally speaking, it's a vibey, fun hangout movie that has a lot of joy in it and a lot of music. And I think that it's a welcome refresher in the context of the anthology.
Yeah, I love the scenes of dancing. There's a particular moment where the music kind of cuts out and everybody is singing on their own.
It's great.
I loved how that switch happened, and I felt really kind of deep into it at that moment. And then I kind of felt like that scene just dragged way too long. And I was kind of like, okay, where is this going?
See, that's so funny because that scene in particular, I was completely on board. And I don't know how long it was. It probably was too long, but emotionally, I was there and I was vibing. And I think for better or worse, this movie is very fly on the wall. And it devotes itself to being fly on the wall and observational all the way till the end.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the camera acted as if it was another pair of eyes, like another person in the party that was just kind of observing all these things.
I do think that this movie is a perfect length too, especially for what they're going for. This sort of more atmospheric take, you know, that's full of joy. I mean, this thing is shorter than an episode of Game of Thrones. I think it's 68 minutes long, and they leave the party with maybe 10 minutes left of the film.
It had a cute ending.
Yeah, no, it did. I really liked the ending. Was one of my favorite parts. I really liked the last 10 minutes quite a bit.
Oh yeah, the last 10 minutes I love. Ever since they get on that bicycle and they ride, I love that shot.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to grades.
All right, so I think I'm at a B. I really enjoyed this movie. I think for being 68 minutes long, it's a pretty fun watch. I think you just have to keep in mind that it doesn't really go anywhere and it doesn't intend to. That it's a fun hangout movie and you get to experience joy and music with a bunch of people.
Yeah, I give it a B too. I thought it was like this cute little portrait into life. And otherwise, kind of how it fits into the anthology series is yet to be seen, or kind of see how it kind of feels from there. All right, and that's our review of Lovers Rock. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe if you're not already, and give this video a like. We'll see you in the next video.